People are struggling.
I do this every day for 5 days a week just to get a damn paycheck that leaves as soon as it hits my account.
The economy has taken a hit. Inflation is running rampant. Housing keeps increasing. And it seems like more and more people are moving away from starting their own business and being entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and just kind of trying to figure out where to go next. And all of this has a huge impact on those of us that aspire to build businesses, or those of you guys that aspire to get online and be an influencer, build a YouTube channel, build things that can help people and ultimately, hopefully, add value to people. There was a compilation of people on TikTok sharing their frustrations and venting about the challenges in their life. Okay. And so this is where we're going to overlap faith in economics, faith in finances, and try to dig a little bit beneath the surface. Okay. Now, before we jump into this video, I got to give you guys a heads up.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Explicit, explicit, explicit.
And if you stay till the end of this video, I'll give you guys one solid tidbit that I think could really help if you relate to the type of struggle that people are going to show in this video. And by the way, this is very, this is heavy stuff.
How are we, like, affording life right now?
This is how cold it is in my flat right now. Can you see?
Now, in the UK, if you guys didn't know, because of the Ukrainian war, they had a serious issue with their natural gas, which I believe was imported, and their oil, which was imported from Russia, okay? And the war really jacked up folks, and that's why there's a lot of folks going without heat.
Writers, actors, UPS workers, everybody going on strike.
I have come to the realization that they just not paying nobody.
The government literally announces that aliens exist and nobody is phased.
That is literally because nobody is getting paid enough to care to come here. At this point, we're tired of living through historical events like every other week, right? Rent too high, groceries too expensive, gas way too pricey, right? It is like the 4th day in a row where it's been 110 degrees. The alien thing is like on the back of the list.
I get up every morning at 4:30. I let my dog out, feed him, get him situated, play with him for a little bit. 5 o'clock, I start getting ready for work. Get ready for work, I'm out the door by 6. Sometimes I stop for breakfast, sometimes I don't because I make it at home. I get here, my shift starts at 7 in the morning. I work from 7 to 4. Leave for the day, take me about 45 minutes to an hour to get home because of traffic. I do this every day for 5 days a week just to get a damn paycheck that leaves as soon as it hits my account. All this to say, I got a job. Don't get me wrong. My dude, he works. Sometimes 12-hour days. He come home, he hurting, he sore, he tired. I'm hurting. I'm mentally tired from dealing with people all damn day and their attitudes. Y'all, I am stressed the f out. And what's crazy is that this paycheck barely even helps. Barely. I shouldn't have to feel guilty because I want a new pair of scrubs. Or me and my dude want to go out for a nice dinner because we deserve it because we work hard. I don't drive a $100,000 car. I drive a regular ass fucking Jeep. He drives a regular damn SUV too. I don't wear Jordans. I don't do all that shit. I live a very simple life. The only splurge I have is getting my nails and my feet done here. I just started YouTubing how to do my own damn hair. I shouldn't have to feel guilty because I want to do something for myself.
So how much more is going to have to happen for all of us to decide collectively to just start striking? Like, what else is going to happen before we all get together and decide we're not taking it no more? Because I'm waiting for everybody to decide to quit their jobs. They can't punish all of us. They're going to have to do something. If we all just stop working, we all stop paying rent, they can't put everybody out. So when is enough? Tell me. Because I've been ready to quit. I've been ready to quit, okay? I'm ready whenever y'all are. The current state of the world, it can't be sustained like this for too much longer. It's not possible. The rioting, the striking, the hottest summer ever, the sea animals are revolting, the aliens.
She said the sea animals are revolting, and then the aliens.
It's the series finale, guys. It's about to be done anyway. We might as well go out with a bang and quit paying all this rent and do some traveling, see some sights that we ain't never seen before. Honestly, I think it's time, guys.
All right, it's official. Took some work, took some maneuvering, but we are now offering a virtual ticket to our live podcast event happening August 26th in Oceanside. So if you can't make it to Oceanside, if you're not from Southern California, go to RuslanLive.com to get your virtual ticket to join us live while we'll be streaming the event to all you guys watching who can't be here with us in person. What if the very things that Christian culture often dismisses as worldly actually aren't bad desires? What do I mean by that? It's obvious that the world values things like money, fitness, fame, and immediate gratification. But I like to propose that those natural human desires can actually be redirected with God's words and God's ways of doing things in order to bring glory to Him and serve our neighbor on this side of eternity. And I like to call this very concept God-driven ambition. And we'll be unpacking all of this at my very first live podcast in-person gathering happening August 26th in Oceanside, California. We'll have God Logic Apologetics, Pastor Jeff Moores from Rhythm Church, John Keith, Trizzle Fitness, and hosted by my guy Ray Rock. Lock it in on your calendars right now. Saturday, August 26th in Oceanside, California at Rhythm Church. Click the button down below or go to RuslanLive.com to get more information and get your ticket now. And of course, I got a Bible verse for you guys. But so here's the foundationally, here's a couple of things. One, I remember I'm 38. Okay. So I'm probably older than a lot of folks in that video. But I remember getting married in 2008. If you guys know anything, 2008, that's when the recession happened. And I remember getting married and expecting, I hate telling this story, by the way, because this is really embarrassing. But I remember getting married and expecting to finish school and get a job and all these things. I remember I was working at the YMCA in Escondido and them offering me a full-time job working in the studio. Remember, my background's in music. So I was supposed to get a job, work in their studio to produce kids 40 hours a week. And like, I don't know, a month before I got married, hours were cut from 40 to like 15 hours a week. And when we got married, we weren't able to afford our own place. There was not a lot of jobs. My wife had just graduated college in 2008. I had a full-time job lined up. I was still going to school. And I had to, for my first year of marriage, I had to move in with my mom, believe it or not. I had to move in with my mom. So imagine you're newlywed and you can't afford to get your own place. And so the only thing you could afford to do is go live with your mom for the first year of marriage, which is rough. And then the plan was, okay, well, we're going to go get on a bunch of affordable housing apartments. And check this out. The crazy thing that happened is the condo that my mom was in that I co-signed on went into foreclosure because her adjustable rate changed. Remember, folks sold those crazy mortgages, and she got one of those mortgages where her mortgage went from like $2,300 a month to like $4,500 a month, and she couldn't refinance, and so she just stopped paying the mortgage. So 6 months into being married, we finally move our way up an affordable housing list, a couple of them, and they start calling us, and it would have been something we could afford, like, because at the time I think a regular apartment was like $1,100 for a 2-bedroom, and we can get an affordable housing place in San Marcos for like $450, which would have been great, right? And so our housing we could afford it. We can make it up the list of one of these affordable housing, two of them, and we went to apply for them, and both of them ran my credit and saw that I had a foreclosure on my credit that she wasn't, or I was about to go into foreclosure, and I got denied at both places. And so it took us a year to save up enough, and my wife to be able to get 2 jobs, and me to have 2 jobs to be able to afford an $1,100 apartment in Vista, 2 bedrooms in 2009. That's when we finally moved out. So I can tell you firsthand how hard it is to go through these sorts of situations. I can also tell you firsthand that what led up to that point was a lot of small, bad micro decisions. I didn't have any useful skills that the market deemed valuable. All I knew how to do was music. And at the time, there wasn't a huge demand for music, even in the engineering section in my area. Notice I said skills, market, area. 2, we racked up a bunch of debt, so our overhead was high. So if we didn't have all the student loans and all the car notes, we probably could have gotten out much sooner. Had we didn't have the student loans and the car notes, we probably could have had money saved up. All of this was underneath and the undergirding of not knowing how to manage money in general. I also noticed that a lot of people at the time of the housing crash were buying properties. And then in hindsight, some of the biggest businesses today got built in the middle of this. What am I talking about? Companies like Uber, companies like Lyft, Instagram, all of these were built post 2008 recession. And so I knew this. I knew there's going to be recessions that come. There's going to be hard times in the economy. There's going to be things that I don't have control over, but let me do my very best to control what I can control. Let me do my very best to develop myself so that next time this happens, I'm never in a position like this again. And so think about what I'm saying to you. I'm thinking about the next time this happens. Well, when is the next time it happens? Well, recessions tend to happen every decade or so. There tends to be a recession historically. There tends to be a downturn in the economy. I started thinking about the next decade. Too many of us are living thinking about the next month or the next year, maybe. Make my New Year's resolutions. I started thinking about the next decade. How can I build my life so that the next time this comes around, this won't be so disruptive, that I can actually have a degree of stability and a degree of foundation. This degree of stability and this degree of foundation is what allowed me to launch into becoming an entrepreneur by going full-time with music in 2015. And think about it. 2008, I'm living with my mom as a newlywed. 2015, I'm financially supporting my whole household in Southern California. My wife is a stay-at-home mom from music, independent music. And we're not a household name by any stretch of the imagination. Most of you guys didn't even know I made music. Think about how much changed in how many years? 7 years? 2023, I'm financially taking care of my mom and a lot of my extended family. Because I'm thinking in decades. I'm not thinking in years. I'm not thinking in months. I'm not thinking in days. I'm thinking, what skills and relationships do I need to develop in the short term to set me up for a long-term turnaround? Because this will happen again. And so if you're hurting right now, I was right there with you. I was right there with you. But right now, you need to start thinking about the next time this is going to happen, because this is going to happen again. And right now, you need to start thinking, what can I do now that if there's a 20% increase in food cost, or if I get a $1,000 emergency, which, by the way, the average American can't afford a $1,000 emergency, that it doesn't completely derail and collapse your entire life. You see what I'm saying? What's happening in the now? You have to learn to work to eat. You got to figure it out in the now. I hear you. It sucks. It's hard. But the more important thing is, how do you position yourself so next time this doesn't happen, right? What do you do to do something next time so that next time this doesn't happen? If you enjoyed this video, check out part 2 where we go deeper on one subtle mistake that so many people make that can completely derail your financial future and any potential you have of launching into a small business. We'll have it pinned right here.
Man, my Patreon rocks. This is a segment from our daily after party stream. If you want the full unedited replay of these after party streams, along with early access to our podcast, our Discord, and a discount code for our store, consider partnering with us for as little as $5 a month.